Shit. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're continuing on doing the new water pump setup on the all-wheel drive EG. So with this setup, like I said in the previous video, we're going from an electric water pump back over to the stock mechanical style fuel pump, and we've been working on getting the new water pump housing mounted on here, and got the new lower radiator hose on yesterday. I just stuck this starter here on just a few minutes ago. It's not quite installed yet, so I got to put the power wire on and stuff. This starter did come from a Z3 engine that I had here, and the connector here is a little bit different than the ones that I had been using, so I don't think that's going to be an issue. I've still got to put the power wire on it over here, and as you can hear probably in the background, it is raining today. So I'm not going to do a whole lot of talking on this episode. I'm just going to do more of time lapse and stuff, and I'll probably still will pick up some throughout the video, talking a little bit about what's going on and that kind of stuff. But most of this video will probably be time lapse, just showing you guys what I'm doing and just getting her done. So I guess let's get started on knocking some of this stuff out. Alright, so we got the tensioner mounted on here now. I've got the mount off here and jacked it up, and you can see there where those bolts go into that, the post mount. So now I also got the alternator mounted. So now I just got to let the jack back down and put this mount back in, and then put the belt on. One thing I'm really not fond of is this long tensioner bolt. I realize it's necessary, you know, if you're using full adjustment, but with the belt setup that I got, it doesn't require all that. So I may change that up in the future, we'll see. But overall it's looking pretty good so far. Let's keep trucking. And she's like, where'd you learn to do that thing you do? Alright, so we've got the belt on now, the tensioner's on. Still got to put the intercooler pipe on down here, put the injectors back in. Every time I take this thing off, I'd always take those injectors out and put them in a little pot of gas. Got that little Tupperware thing here with regular straight non-ethanol gas in there. I always put them injectors in that to keep them sticking. So I've just got to do that, and then put like the vacuum line back on to the fuel pressure regulator, and back on here where it connects to the manifold. And then let's see what else it was. I think that should be about it. Put some coolant in it and see if it's gonna run like this. We'll find out. Alright, so I just filled the water, or the radiator up pretty much filled up. Anyway, I put some distilled water in here, and now I've got some of this Redline water wetter, and this is what I'm going to be putting in there with the water to hopefully keep the temps down and see what it works. I used something similar to this when I was B series, and the temp stayed pretty consistent about 180. So I'm hoping this is gonna help keep this set up around 182. I mean, as long as it stays under 200, I'm happy with that. But before we were going up to like 220 or so, just cruising, not even doing pulls. And it's just a little warmer than I really like. So we're gonna try this setup. I read a lot of stuff online saying that the electric water pump just wasn't as efficient as the mechanical one, you know, when you're under speed, as well as not having a thermostat with the electric water pump, and it's just not keeping it in the radiator long enough for it to cool down. So we'll give it a shot and see how it works out. I've still got the electric water pump stuff if I need to put it back on, and I guess I'm gonna put my catch can lines back on. Or I can probably go ahead and start it up, and well, I need to put the intercooler pipe back on before I start it. I mean, I can start it with the intercooler pipe off, but let me go ahead and put that back on. So what I want to do is shut it back off now and let it cool off for just a minute, and then I'm going to check the coolant level because the way it was vibrating and stuff, I went ahead and put the cap on just to keep any from coolant or anything from splashing out. So I'll let it cool off for just a second, open this radiator, and I actually have a coolant funnel I can put on here and try to make sure that it's full. So I definitely want to make sure there's no more air pockets in there or anything like that that could make it overheat. So this is a pretty small system on this because I don't have a heater core or anything like that. So it basically just whatever's in the radiator and the engine block is pretty much the whole system. So it's pretty straightforward on that. So like I said, I'm going to let it cool off for a minute. I'm going to go ahead and put these breather hoses back on while it's cooling off, and hopefully we'll be ready to jam here in a minute. Hopefully my fan running isn't giving me too much background noise, but the reason the drive shaft failed is the bolt that goes through the mount here vibrated out, and then it let the motor torque and it overextended the slip joint. So that's why the drive shaft failed. But once it came out, you can see there how it broke that U joint and all that good kind of stuff. But nothing back here otherwise was hurt. You can see where it did hit here and like up here, but I mean, otherwise nothing in the tunnel looks damaged. Doesn't like it hit anything. It may have hit that fuel line, but it's not ruptured. It bent my bracket here just a smidge, but it's not anything that's gonna hurt. Everything back here looks fine. Don't look like it hit anything back here. So yeah, I think we're good as far as that goes. Yeah, just old stock CRV diff. The only thing about this one is the clutches are pinned. It's open diff. There's my two Bosch 044 fuel pumps, two Aeromotive pre-filters. So both of these come from the tank to the pre-filter, and then it goes into the pump, and then wires back into a single. I think it wires up here above the tank, and then comes up here. And I reused a bunch of old lines I already had, so that's why it has unions and whatnot. This line's expensive. So if I was able to get away with reusing what I had, then that's what I did. So a lot of that stuff was left over from the B series when I had B series in here with a sump tank, but yeah. So I got all that mounted up here. All right. And now I guess I'm gonna take it down off the lift and guess I'm gonna go drive it down the road, see how it does. We'll see. Well, so far it's like 180 degrees. Not too bad. So driving down the road, it never got over like 202, which I'm very satisfied with. But just I stopped here at the shop just to let it sit here and idle for a minute, and it got up to like 208. It just hit 210 after I shut it off for some reason. But I'm wondering if the Mishimoto fan just isn't sufficient enough. Maybe I need to get a SPAL fan, SPAL, get a SPAL fan and see if that's going to help. Because maybe it's just not getting enough air across it, because it's got a heavy wire on it. It's not the stock wiring. I guess, I mean, there's other things to explore to see about idle temp and that kind of stuff, but it's one thing's for sure, the electric water pump cools the car off hella faster when it's sitting, like not running, because you can turn the pump on with the fan and it just, the temp almost instantly drops to where with the mechanical pump, you know, I got the fan running right now, but the water pump's not moving, so it's not moving any of the water. It's not circulating the water in the cooling system, so it's not very efficient at dropping the temp like that. But it's gonna be all right. I think that the system that I've got in place on here now is gonna be fine. I guess we'll rock it for a little while and find out, and if it is sufficient, then I'll sell the electric water pump. But I don't want to sell the electric water pump until I make sure that this is definitely going to be what I need. And one thing I really like about this setup with this style of a tensioner is the fact that it retains the stock mounting point for the alternator. Now a lot of these guys I see, you know, they buy the, like the, I hate to call anybody out, or like Carceps or any of those. You know, I've never had them, so I can't tell you, you know, a failure rate or anything like that. I'm not trying to call anybody out, but I've seen them to where they mount the alternator lower, like where the AC compressor used to be, and the mounts break or whatever, and you know, you lose your alternator. Well, with this setup, you know, this mounts directly to the post mount, and you know, it gives you a tensioner up here, because I can't use the EP3 style because obviously the water pump housing is modified where the EP3 would have bolted to. Also, with this style tensioner, it allows you to retain AC in the event that you had AC and you're using a big intake. So with any other style, you couldn't have a big intake and AC. You know, obviously I'm not using AC in this configuration, but in the event that you wanted to, is definitely possible. So I think that's pretty awesome. And like I say, I am in the process of becoming a dealer for PLM. I've just got a couple more things to do, and then I will have my dealer license through PLM. And you know, once we get that stuff up and going, I'm gonna try to do something where I can give you guys a discount on stuff through PLM. So anyways guys, thanks for checking out the channel. Thanks for watching this video. If you made it this far, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace. Oh, and this stupid drive shaft, man. I'm so aggravated with FedEx. I paid for 2-day shipping on Wednesday, and they said it would be here Saturday, which is tomorrow. Today's, well, at the time you're seeing this video, is today, but it's tomorrow for me right now because it's Friday. And then I just tracked it last night, and it's saying freaking it's gonna be here on Tuesday. Like, what kind of math does that add up to? I paid $50 shipping for 2-day shipping, and it's taking them 5 days to get it to me. Golly, I'm so aggravated with that crap, but it's gonna work out. I think we found another drive shaft, complete drive shaft, so we'll get that and get it installed and make our trip Monday.